Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jack, I'm Conrad, and this is the Footy 5. We're going to introduce a new segment right now that we're going to call Transfer Stupid, where we're going to talk about things that are happening in the transfer market where players previously were, 10, 12 million pound players, now with all this money coming in are now 35, 45 million pound players, and what kind of value teams can expect from the people they're getting. This came out of an argument that we had, I won't say argument, but debate that we had.
Yep.
So without further ado, let's get to our first airing of what we call Transfer Stupid. All right, because there's so much money coming into the Premier League now with all the new TV deals. Players that 2-3 years ago were $12, $15 million players, $2 million pound players maybe are now 45, 50 million pounds. And it's kind of the whole economics, and it's had a ripple effect across Europe. I mean, you look at Neymar going to PSG for 222 million
and that's
pounds
going to have ripple effects itself, because say Barcelona go sign Coutinho and Dembele. Now Barcelona and Liverpool are armed with this money. They got to go sign more people. Yeah. And then say Liverpool go and sign Lanzini from West Ham. Oh, West Ham's got to go replace him. It's just.
Oh, and you only got 2 weeks, not even 13 days till the end of the transfer window. So what the topic that we started was Nemanja versus Gylfi. So this is Matic and Sigurdsson, right? Matic went to United. He's age 29, just turned 29 for 40 million pounds. Defensive midfielder.
He's turning 28.
Yeah, he turns 28 next week. Yeah. So a year difference in age.
Yeah,
right?
basically.
But relatively comparable amount of money spent. But I like both of these players.
They're both very good. They're both very good players.
Conte comes out and admits he laments the fact that Matic is gone. Matic knows the quality of the player that Conte felt he was, how he rated him, but Conte's system didn't fit him, right? So $40 million.
And that's part of the reason why $40 million is kind of a bargain for him. Because if Conte valued him and he wanted out for it, or say United was trying to get him, it would be much more for that compared to Sigurdsson. Swansea were holding on to him with everything that they had.
And he was agitating for a move. He refused to go on the team's trip to the United States in preseason, and he wanted out. And I can't blame him. I mean, why would you want to continue to play for a constantly relegation-threatened side?
When you can go to Everton, who have a very good project developing. You got Rooney coming in. You got Michael Keane, Jordan Pickford. They've got David Klaassen from Ajax.
Really good.
And he adds a lot to the team and potentially replaces Ross Barkley, who goes to maybe a Tottenham.
Who's really just a disgruntled player. Yeah, doesn't look like he's happy at all.
Yeah, he does. He's
disinterested.
He's been on his way out for a while.
For a while, it seems like. Even last year in the winter window, I think that he was rumored to go.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's going to end up, but my view on this is I would much rather spend $40 million on Matic than $45 million on Sigurdsson, given their age and impact, because I think what he does, he unlocks Paul Pogba. We talked about it in 2 straight episodes now, and it's like getting 2 brand new players for 40 million pounds. I mean, massive, massive impact on your team, right? Yeah. He's immediately come in, displaced Ander Herrera, who was the fans' vote for Player of the Year. Just immediately sidelined. Yeah. Herrera is a different type of player, but
that was the issue with Herrera. Is whenever they played Herrera and Pogba in the midfield, Pogba and Herrera both had to equally come back to try and defend. Which, I mean, they can do, but that's not the strong points, what they're good at. But now Matic just sits back there and just defends and just cleans up for Pogba, and Pogba can go attack, go into
moves
space.
So fluidly, side to side in front of that back four. He covered like 20% more ground than any other defensive mid in the league. He's almost 12 kilometers. That's a ton for a defensive midfielder. And his distribution is unbelievable. The way he is able to control the ball frees up space for Pogba. Pogba's then free to move, which frees up space for Lukaku up front. Mm-hmm. He unlocks that entire team, and it's I'm telling you, it's like £100 million signing because you're getting him in a brand new Paul Pogba. It's what you thought you bought last year if you're United when Pogba came in.
Yeah, but me personally, I would rather spend that kind of money on Sigurdsson personally because of what they're bringing on the offensive end of the field. Because Sigurdsson is going to basically kind of almost neutralize his value with Barkley, because if Barkley leaves for, we'll say, $35 million, because his value is going down,
dropping by the day
as time goes on. So you're spending a little bit on Gylfi Sigurdsson, and over the last 3 seasons, he's scored 27 goals and had 25 assists, and his numbers, of course, he's not as good as like the Christian Eriksens, the Philippe Coutinhos, but his numbers are quite close to them for being on a very struggling Swansea team.
He's the only reason they're relevant, that they're still in the league.
And he's carried them, and I think the thing that it kind of confuses me, well, not confuses, but is Sigurdsson, that's probably his max value as a player. I would more realistically pay $35 million for him. But because Swansea were holding on and just getting every last
There was
penny,
no market for him. That's why that's a staggering amount of money for that player.
they wanted $50 million. Spurs were also somewhat interested, but not for that price.
I just think it's a stupid amount of money.
And I think Matic is probably closer to $60 million as the player that he is. So say if Conte did value him, his valuation would be much, much higher. But I feel like Sigurdsson, I think he's a very, very good player for Swansea.
He's going to make Everton better. He's not going to have the same pound for pound, dollar for dollar, euro for euro, whatever you want to say, much bigger impact on that United team because that whole team is transformed. He took a dead, lifeless attack that had 15 draws last year. They struggled to score.
Yeah.
Ibrahimovic was otherworldly. They had, Pogba and Ibra were good together.
Yeah.
But Lukaku, better than Ibra, right? So not as experienced, not as world class.
He's not as a finished product.
Correct. That's kind of where I'm going.
The first touch, the back to goal issue with Lukaku.
But what he does when he carries the ball forward, they are a different team, and this allows Mourinho to change his tactics completely. Yeah. And I think Mourinho versus Koeman. Mourinho's going to is a much better tactical manager, and he's going to. He's noted for those 200-page game plans. It's massive.
And I think
it's terrifying to the rest of the league.
Yeah, and I think Sigurdsson, they're both fantastic signings for both teams in their own respects. But me personally, $40 million for defensive mid is a lot of money for the individual player. Of course, you get Pogba coming out.
Way better value for me.
But that amount of money for a guy who's 29, he's not the quickest, and he's just going to go down from here. And so I feel like
he's a year behind him. You're talking about 1 year,
but the productivity of the individual player itself is
what unlocks the value of that team way more. I'm not worried about his productivity. He has a nose for the ball. He knows where it's going to be. He gets there and intercepts it and then distributes.
He's an upgrade on Ross Barkley, clearly.
Agreed.
And so he's going to make a lot more space for Wayne Rooney, for their forwards, to try and potentially get those spaces that they don't have right now with Barkley. Again,
I'll take Matic. End of the season. I don't know how you measure this.
I'm going to make sure that I point this out. Euro 2016.
He was playing better than Pogba.
After the first game, we were watching the Euros.
And you say very outrageous things. That's why we have this.
Yeah. And Payet scores that great left-footed shot, and he's had this fantastic season for West Ham. And then you go, you know what? I think Payet's better than Pogba.
Pogba was playing a disinterested brand of football right then.
I think Payet's better than Pogba.
Absolutely true.
And, again, rushing to conclusions. And, Payet's now at Marseille. Pogba's now one of the probably the best midfielder in the world.
He's got to prove it this year now that he's going to be left free to roam. And I'm not going to disagree with that. At that moment, Payet was playing better football than Pogba was. But right now, this is the better value for about the same amount of money. He is going to...
2 months from now.
If I had really seen if he had been on that team last year, or if he had a clue as how impactful he was going to be, I would have probably had them at the top of the table. That would have been my...
Chelsea?
I'm not changing. No.
Oh, okay. I see.
United this year. I would have taken them from up my prediction because he has been. I think that he's going to have. Granted, 2 matches that we've seen. We've seen him in the preseason.
Yeah, we've only seen the one. I think kind of main match. Because Super Cup was. More testing things. But a month, 2 months from now, we could see who gets the more immediate value. I think Matic is probably going to be the more immediate impact, but Sigurdsson I think is a bit more of a long term. Maybe 2 to 3 years, you're going to get some solid 10 goal, 10 assist production from him. I believe in Sigurdsson.
I know you do.
Don't sleep on his free kicks.
No, he's good.
Those add a different dynamic to your team.
All right, that's it for us. This preview for week 2 in the Premier League. Give us a like, a comment, and if you're new, please subscribe. We will be back once or twice this weekend to comment on what's going on and what's happened. But thank you again. This has been the 45 for Jack, Conrad. Have a good day. Thank you.